Good morning, LinkedIn friends, HubSpot Nation. Welcome to another Let's Unbox HubSpot. We get to go deep on calling again with Sarah Hall. How you doing, Sarah?
How's it going? Hey, everyone.
It's going great. I've been having some fun episodes recently with Zach, really digging into customer agent doing the calling or receiving the calling. So we'll definitely be hitting on that. But I know, oh man, it's only been like a couple of months, and you guys have just been continuing to give us some beautiful updates. I wanted to give you the opportunity to just what is new in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, there's so much. I feel like we talked almost a year ago, and it was literally only a couple months. Exciting things in HubSpot in general. I think the biggest thing that's kind of come out of the gate recently that everyone hopefully is getting some rumblings about is the change to the Chrome extension. Essentially, everyone knows when you were placing calls before, I'm sorry, receiving inbound calls in HubSpot, you had to have that extra tab open. That was like the point of connection for the call. We know that's been a huge point of contention since 2022 for customers. So super excited that that is now in public beta. You essentially just everything's plugged into the HubSpot Chrome extension. As long as you have that plugged in, you no longer have to go in and like open that second call tab to receive calls. It's just going to sit in the background. So that was a huge update. Thanks to my colleagues Francis and Eric for getting that live. And then Power Dialer is also in beta. We know they're still working on the process for tasks to be able to trigger it. Right now, it's still triggered off of the contact list. But still, go ahead and try it out. Let us know how you're feeling with it. That's able for you to go ahead and test now. Another big thing was caller ID. We've been hearing this for quite some time as well. When you acquire a HubSpot number, not a registered number, but like when you go in and acquire a HubSpot number, you can now set a caller ID to really help with that branding. Also, should it be helping with answer rates? Because bundled into that, we also have voice integrity and stir shaking for all of my like telecom people. Things just really fundamentally help the performance of the numbers. That's now available. If you have any questions on that, like be sure to send me a message. Happy to walk you guys through that and demo it. And then just expanding on number offerings as well, like toll-free number acquisition is now available. We're going to be getting into toll-free reporting soon, later on in Q1. We've expanded to some more countries, Finland, Poland, Thailand. We've got like South Africa and Ecuador and other countries coming later this year. We're going to expand to probably 20 plus more countries and number types in the next quarter or so. So really excited for that. We also launched the ability to customize your call recording settings. So previously it was an all or nothing. You turn on call recording, everybody gets recorded. We know that's not a great compliance win. So we've now expanded so you can enable call recording by call direction, inbound or outbound. And then coming up next, you can enable call recording by teams and users. So
Oh wow.
that's a breathful. I'll stop there. There's a lot more that's still in the works. The big one that still people are asking for is transfers across teams. We're wrapping that up. Should be finishing that soon, and a lot more things. So I'll stop there. That's a lot. I know it's a lot to digest, but exciting things to kind of solve. So
Yeah, man, you guys are moving fast. Would it be fair to say when we're thinking about, the browser-based experience and also the choices of inbound versus outbound and teams, like this is all in this effort of just like wherever conversations are happening, wherever data is being generated, like we've got to do everything we can to get it into HubSpot. Yeah.
yeah, our big thing, we want to be able to make sure you can capture like all of these conversations that are happening in one spot. And then also just the point of entry just needs to be as seamless as possible. There is still a lot of fractured or like siloed experiences when you try to get your calling set up or voice any type of communication channel. So really just trying to make that entire experience smoother. And that's what you can kind of see with a lot of the updates that have happened in the past, 60 days and what's coming in the next 60 days. It's really just more of a seamless, complete all around experience to get your numbers launched and then be able to use them for any call direction and then analyze them in one fluid motion.
Mm-hmm. I think the one area that I still see like being just hard to figure out is I'm a sales rep and I'm on the road, I'm traveling, and I'm receiving calls to my mobile device. and I'm making calls from my mobile device, not necessarily using the HubSpot app on my phone. And I think part of it is training the reps on how to use the calling features. And then HubSpot working on just making it as seamless as possible, like you said, where it's like, I don't have to change what I'm doing too much or at all. Like, right. Cause like, I've been doing it this way for 20, 30 years, and it's, just capture it and get it in there. Right. So it's great to hear that you guys are aligned with that and trying to help bridge that gap every day.
Yeah. And so I think a big part of what we're hoping is just in continuing to build confidence in the HubSpot calling tool. Again, we launched inbound calling in 2022. We know there's a lot of distrust with like that operation. If you don't have a feature that you need for your day-to-day operation as a rep, and you're asking quarter over quarter and you don't have it, you're probably just going to go to other tools, like you're saying, Zach, and you're just not going to log them at all. So I think one thing we're definitely looking into for the rest of 2026 is starting with building more confidence with those reps that are on the go. One of the things that's been asked for quite some time as well is like having a ring through preference. So if you ring my rep in the browser, they're not in the office, then ring them on that mobile device. So solving for those gaps, I think, will help build more trust in those teams that haven't had the capability to have like a very fluid capturing experience with HubSpot calling. If we can kind of close those gaps, then they'll be more willing to make those adjustments, actually open the app and like make sure that they're placing the calls from the HubSpot app.
Yep. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, for sure. Zach's got some stuff set up that we're going to be able to go through, but I wanted to give you an opportunity, Sarah, to anything that, is new you want to show and make sure we show, or just what are you like excited about right now as you guys are starting in 2026? And, what are you seeing customers get excited about?
Yeah, I'm very excited for where we're headed with the calling channel and customer agent. So customer agent's been live for quite some time. We've got the live chat and email channels. They are making tremendous grounds. And then we have our calling channel, which is still in beta, but we are moving forward, trying to get to public beta soon and improve the functionality. Another piece of that is our IVR tool, which has been around, I think, since 2024. I forgot when we launched that, but it's been around for quite some time. And I think it's really an underutilized tool when you talk about, I want to have a completely efficient, seamless routing experience for my inbound calls, really taking the hand holding off and making sure that your customers are getting to the right teams. So I think really want to make sure and stress to our HubSpot users that team calling is a very powerful tool. If you're using team calling, plug those systems into an IVR and just make sure that the caller is routed to the right team. You don't have to have these siloed experiences and all these different numbers used. So one other thing we're adding, because customer agent is extremely efficient, it automates everything. Why not plug it into your processes? Now the customer agent is going to be able to you can have your initial inbound call come into that IVR number and then have it trigger to the customer agent. So from here, when you're setting up the IVR, pretty standard. You'll go in, you'll set up that primary number as the entry point. Oh, sorry. Also the toll-free number. Toll-free number is launched. So I know that's a huge one for people. So you have your toll-free number, that's your inbound number. And then you'll go set up your keypad. So traditionally, we always had the manual keypad. We have the voice, which launched last year. And now you have customer agent. So if you're placing that inbound call, the customer agent is now going to try to resolve that customer inquiry, the frequently asked questions. If in the event the customer agent cannot answer it, instead of defaulting to ringing a rep in that channel, it can trigger your IVR system and go through the routing that way. So if I were to add a branch, welcome agent, and just add my branches, let's say one is Spanish. So anyone that speaks Spanish would be able to recognize that obviously from the conversation with the agent, or you could have one with anyone that mentions billing. Let's just say billing. And if they mention any key phrases,
So just if they mention it, this is before the moment where they're asked to press 1, 2, or 3.
So ideally, it still should be used to like resolve the question. So you still want to make sure the customer agent is not, because it can route with just the voice menu from voice detection. But you actually want to have that full like use this as an additional line. It could be like used for tier 1 support. It could be used for after hours. If you have after hours clients calling in, you still want them to try to resolve the question with the agent. But based off the questions, the conversation that the agent is having, it can use that context to then route the customer if it can't resolve the questions. So you're not repeating information, and it's just a little more seamless there. And so from there, once all the ring twos are set up, so again, I call in, I ask 2 different questions about, how can I change my address? And then I ask a question about billing, and the agent's not able to resolve it for whatever reason based off the sources. Then it's going to trigger to say, okay, this is going to meet branch 1 because you said the keywords of billing. So kind of similar to what's already on the voice menu, but just a little more, again, smart, because the customer agent is going to resolve those questions for you.
And then would you put for like the wrong input, no input, then that could branch into like the actual like IVR keypad?
So we're working, so we can still have the keypad as a default. That's why this isn't quite in beta yet, but once we finish working this in, the keypad would still be used if the customer isn't actually saying anything to trigger the correct route.
So it just automatically would just say like, hey, we didn't really pick up anything. So for sales, press 1, for service, press 2, for support,
Correct. Yeah. After a certain amount of attempts, we're still going to give that keypad menu just to make sure we're not just forcing the customer. The wrong input is usually going to be used if someone's going to say something completely out of context or there's nowhere to go. You may want to route that to like a default voicemail box.
Gotcha. Like if somebody asks for a completely unrelated product, you might be like, I think you might have the wrong company here. We don't sell that.
If someone asks about Pizza Hut, like you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So yeah, you can route them to the wrong input.
Okay, cool.
And as we look at like when we go into the settings and how customer agent setup, is that where that is like, so the customer agent will know it's out of context based on the setup of the customer agent, right?
Yeah, it's going to know it's not able. So the customer agent is still set up in customer agent settings. So yeah, everything, we're just plugging this in that it's going to be able to capture the conversation that was had with the customer and use that information to route more seamlessly to your teams and reps. So it's going to know, Pizza Hut is not has nothing to do with any of your persons or teams or branches. So from there, it should route it to a wrong input.
Yeah. I think like what's important to highlight here, and this is how HubSpot has always worked, but it's always a challenge to explain this part. Like what we're seeing here, like is so simple, in my opinion, of how you just set that up to bring in a fairly complex mechanism into the process that would usually scare the hell out of a lot of people and think like, oh, wow, we're going to have to figure out all the different scenarios and all the keywords and then we'll be able to use the system.
Yeah, like weeks of work.
Yeah. And now the foundation of getting the AI settings right throughout HubSpot now enables this whole like application layer on top to be very simple to set up and manage and learn from, so that when we talk about Breeze as like an intelligence layer of HubSpot, that's why we talk about it that way. Like, so if you're used to using workflows, right, that's why this looks very similar. For that reason, it's going to work in a similar way. And as long as we've done the setup on the ground, like this stuff just works, right? Like, so just because we're using IVR doesn't mean we need to bring in a whole new set of keyword scenarios just to make it gets routed to the right place, right?
Yeah, correct.
And if you flip that around and say, okay, let's say that my boss came to me today and said, we need to set up a new IVR. And you didn't have anything configured in HubSpot. You didn't have any of your AI settings configured. You had 0 context. You had no customer agent set up. You just, nothing. You have to go do all of these foundational things for this to work. Yeah. So, again, with most things HubSpot, if you focus on building strong foundations, all of these, additional capabilities and features and betas that come out, you can jump right in and start doing it. Versus, wow, that looks really awesome. I'd love to be able to start, using that today. Sorry to tell you, but you still have maybe a couple months worth of work to do before you're, and by that time, it's like the next beta has already come out. And so I think it just stresses the importance of, have a clean organized database, go through the audits, set everything up, the right way, be purposeful, be intentional with it. And it unlocks, this capability for you to now kind of keep up with what's going on versus always feeling like you're behind on what's going on.
Yeah.
That's a great call, Zach. I actually have a question from that, because one thing that we are focused on as well, again, with just making everything seamless from the setup perspective, is I think we have some onus to do a better job of pointing out the value of what's unlocked when you have HubSpot calling tools. And so from that point of when you first go in and get a HubSpot number, you should be able to understand, like, I can leverage this for customer agent, I can leverage this in IVR, I can leverage this in help desk and inbox. And I don't think we're telling that fluid story right now. So that's where we're like heads down trying to work on a better story for that. But I'm curious for you, because you've been already setting up customer agent, like what were the points of contention with the setup? Were there major gaps in like understanding how to plug that tool in across channels?
I think what would be helpful in terms of like kind of tying it together is like, what do you actually have to set up in help desk, right? Or like, so if like you want to use the customer agent, like you have to set all these other things up first. So you have all these help desk settings, all these channel things that you have to connect, things you have to configure. So how do you set all that up? Like it's kind of almost like what's the checklist that I need of all these things that have to be configured in HubSpot for this end result to work. And there's a lot of overlap, whether you want to use calling or customer agent or prospecting agent or, whatever, like there's a lot of these foundational things that you should set up. And so I think maybe just having a guide of like, if you want to use these, kind of AI native tools in HubSpot, you have to go through this upfront work to get all this configuration done. So start with like, okay, you want to use IVR, you got to set this up. You want to use customer agent, you got to set all this stuff up. You want to set inbound calling, outbound calling, whatever it is. You know what you want. Now we're going to just tell you all the things that you have to check off your list to have set up. And then when you want to set up the next thing, well, guess what? You already checked like half of the things off your list, because there's that overlap there between the settings and how they work. And then if you want to take it a step back from there, it's, make sure you have the clean data and good data governance happening here. So that, right. So, but I think that, either just, and there are a lot of resources out there, but I think one of the challenges in HubSpot is, just make it super easy for me, right? Guide me through it. So like if I'm setting up the customer agent, it's like, hey, we noticed that you haven't set this thing up yet. You need this for your agent. Go here and do this.
Right.
And I know that that's more so the case with some of the betas, because like they're betas still, like it hasn't been fully baked. But I found it really helpful when like HubSpot just tells you this is the way you should do it. Even like with some of like the setting up instructions and prompts and things. It's like, hey, HubSpot likes to receive this information in a certain format, because when we do, it works really well with our platform.
Yeah.
If you type in all of your own instructions and hit go, well, what you type in is going to be different than the next person. And I've seen it in there before where it's like, you just type it in and then hit generate, and we're going to now run it through our own kind of prompt and reformat it for you in a way that fits. That kind of stuff is really helpful. And I think it just creates a better user experience for, on both sides, So I think that's, just guide me, lead me, make it super easy, pretend I'm a 10-year-old and I have never done this before. Right.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who want to do this stuff, but they're not all of them are super technical too. And there's so many resources out there that I think sometimes they get a little bit lost and frustrated. We're just trying to avoid that.
Yeah. I love that. It's like going back to the basics. You literally have to remove myself from like being a product manager on calling and go back to like, if I go and step into the data hub world, I probably have no idea how to set up a lot of things. So it's really just kind of taking yourself out of that and simplifying it. So yeah, we're excited to dive into that this year. And I'll definitely keep you guys posted as we have some new experiences in the works that should simplify that.
Yeah. Like I love the new help desk settings area, right? I'm in there right now.
Yeah. And I do want to mention, like, as far as how much like there's always a balance between like overwhelm and like so that people like they just lean out and like we'll get to that later.
Mhm.
But also understanding like you can't use it unless you embrace the complexity a little bit in the setup. And I remember the first time I saw this page, which was like a new settings page experience. I was like, oh, okay, this is serious business over here. But to the point you guys are just making, I think the main difference I'm seeing, because this comes up with all of the product managers I talk to, and was just mentioned yesterday, and the data management team is trying to help data model builder like understanding. And if we could build that muscle,
Mhm.
right, data modeling like is often in the way of so much value in HubSpot, and the ecosystem, struggles with that capability. But in most of these moments, I'm coming into these tools for the first time when I need to do something, right?
Yeah.
So if it's my first time coming in and I'm met with like an onboarding tour, that's like exit out, right? Immediately. So how do we build those tours and like key coaching moments into the process itself, so it's a little bit more reactive than trying to funnel people through a journey? It's definitely more complex to manage that way, but I think if we shift the point of view, it'll become a lot easier, because as long as it's in my work process, I would love all the guidance, right, and just best practices, as long as it makes sense for what I'm doing right now, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like marketing, right? Sending the right message to the right person at the right time.
Yeah.
It's like hit me with it when I need it, and when I'm ready. I'm here. Like I need the help now.
Yeah.
Like Chris said, yeah, I don't know if I want to spend 15 minutes going through a whole walkthrough of everything under the sun. I just need this one thing. So it's almost kind of like read my mind a little bit, see what I have set up, see what I don't have set up, see what I'm trying to do, and then recommend that next action, like you would for like a sales call or a sales meeting. What's that recommended next step?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got some great updates coming on that as well this year. So,
Yeah. That's my favorite use of AI. Like I said that a lot. Like we try to be so like, okay, we know everything, so now here's exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Like instead of understanding the behavior of the portal, and now we're at that level since it's its own layer, like to say, hey, here are things you should be considering right now.
Yep.
Right? It's because to try and nail it for all the different use cases is pretty much impossible.
Yeah.
Right? Especially once you consider like usage of the portal and just all the variables in play. But like in this survey that went yesterday around how to do this in the data model builder, like the number one thing showing like voted for is architectural best practices, like during the journey, right? The second best thing is foundational concept, like the overview of the data model itself, right? So in between that, we usually find like the how-to tutorials and like, this is how you get everything done, when it's very rare that I'm in a moment where I have to get everything done like right now. So I think there's a ton of opportunity for Breeze Assistant or, the AI feature set to be like, by the way, like a little icon just everywhere. Dare I say something like a Clippy, just hanging around. I think there's a reason that has like jokingly come up a lot over the last year, in terms of just we want that little like safety net companion, everywhere we go now. And
Yeah.
a lot of platforms are able to provide it now that AI makes it so easy to do that. So, all right, Zach, let's get back to the fun stuff. Yeah.
Sure. What do you want to do? Are we going to show a little bit of the agent in action? Do we want to get into some more settings? Like, what do you want to do?
I think it would be great to show customer agent calling in action.
Okay, cool.
So I always love hearing other people's setup. So yeah, let's hear how the call responds.
All right, I like it. So this is the example that we've used in a few of our calls so far, and this is tied into my demo portal. So we are Wonka Factory Company, and we make candy equipment. So we're a manufacturer of candy equipment. So this is all AI content and images. I built this on the HubSpot CMS, by the way. So I'm going to ask our special guest, Sarah, here to pick one of our product lines that we're going to be calling and asking about. So here are kind of, take a look, see if anything catches your eye.
Let's do the beverage systems.
Ooh, okay. The fizzy lifting drinks. Okay. All right. Okay. So a couple things here just to note. There's a form here that's tied into the help desk. The chat here is also tied into help desk and the customer agent. So if we were to chat anything here, it's all the same knowledge base on the back end that we're going to look at, but chatting's not as fun as calling. So I've got a couple numbers here. I have one is just like the general number. So we'll test that out real quick. And then the second one, I do have like an IVR set up so we can kind of have a little fun with that. Okay. So let me go ahead and just leave this up here. Let's go ahead. I'm actually going to call from my cell phone and put it on speaker. I think it works pretty well with this microphone. So I'll do 585. And I'll give everyone the number here. If you're listening and you want to try it out, please call. I love finding random new messages in my HubSpot portal. So the number is 585-844-5983. Okay, let's see what happens here.
This call is being recorded for training and quality assurance. By staying on the line, you consent to being recorded.
Hey there, this is WillyBot, your AI customer support. How can I help you out today?
Hey, WillyBot, this is Zach. I am the CEO of Pepsi Cola or PepsiCo or whatever you want to call it. We're like the biggest beverage manufacturer in the world. Our sales have been kind of slumping lately, and we need something new and innovative to add to our product lineup. Do you guys have anything there that may pique my interest?
Thanks for sharing that, Zach. I understand you're looking for something innovative to boost your product lineup. Before diving deeper, let me check our current offerings to see if anything aligns. Give me a moment to look up some details. Let me check something for you. One moment while I explain what I found. It looks like we have offerings in candy manufacturing equipment, such as carbonation and bottling systems for effervescent drinks, and even edible printing for custom designs. Could you let me know if one of these aligns with what you're looking for?
Sure. Seeing as I'm in the beverage business here, let's go with the fizzy lifting drinks. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? That sounds cool.
Sure. Let me check the details on the fizzy lifting drink carbonation and bottling system. One moment while I look that up. Here's what I found. The fizzy lifting drink carbonation and bottling system is a compact system designed to produce consistent effervescent drinks. It includes an integrated carbonation tank for perfect bubbles and automated rinsing, filling, and capping stations. It has a throughput capacity of about 600 bottles per hour, and it's built from 304 stainless steel. Does that cover what you were looking for, or would you like more details on any part of it?
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious about the power requirements that this thing has.
Sure. Let me give you the details on that. The system requires about 25 kilowatts of power, which is roughly 34 horsepower, and it operates at 480 volts. There's also a CO2 supply needed as well, plus 6 bar of air pressure. Does that help clarify?
Yeah. Now, how big is this thing? I need to keep in mind my floor space in my manufacturing facility.
Got it. The dimensions are about 4 meters in width, 2 meters in depth, and 2.5 meters in height. Does that fit within your available space?
Yeah. Like, do you guys have any kind of like warranty or support, like installation services? What do you guys cover for that?
Let me check that for you. One moment while I look up details on the warranty and support options. The system comes with a 12-month warranty. In terms of support, there's a range of options. The standard support includes phone and email help during business hours, access to documentation, and remote troubleshooting. There are also higher tiers that offer preventive maintenance, priority responses, and remote monitoring. Would you like more details on any specific support tier?
How much does one of these bad boys cost?
I'll transfer you to an agent now to provide more details on pricing. One moment.
Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Leave a message, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
Okay, so it normally transfers to my cell phone, but since I'm on a meeting and I'm busy and stuff right now, like I'm unavailable.
It's an awesome voicemail.
So that was that's a little bit of the agent. There's more that you can ask it. It's got some pretty good, level of details in there. I also wanted to just quickly pull up the IVR, just to kind of show you guys that real quick. So that's 585-632 5265. So this would be like if you're calling, customer service line or something like that.
Oompa Loompa, Doompity Doo. I've got a perfect puzzle for you. Oompa Loompa, Doompity Dee. If you are wise, you'll listen to me. Hi, I'm Willybot, your helpful agent here at Wonka Factory Company. The suspense is terrible. I hope it will last. How can I help?
Well, I was looking for some spare parts. Is there something that you guys could help me with?
It sounds like you were looking for spare parts, which is related to our sales team. Would you like to be routed to the sales team for assistance?
No, scratch that. Actually, I'm looking for some support right now.
It seems like you need support regarding Fred's baths. Would you like to be routed to the support team for assistance?
Sure.
I'll send you to the support team right away for assistance with Fred's baths. Connecting now.
Something seemed off there.
Thanks for contacting the Wonka Factory Company Service Department. Our Oompa Loompas are ready to help. Did Augustus Gloop fall into the chocolate river again? Seriously, that kid needs to take it easy. Press 1. Does someone need to find Veruca Salt and her father at the bottom of the egg sorting chute? She really is a bad egg. Press 2. Is Mike TV screwing around in the television chocolate room? The stretching machine is down, so he's out of luck for a while. Press 3. Did Violet eat the forbidden gum and swell up like a giant blueberry again? We were running a little low on juice in the break room. Press 4. This call is being recorded for training and quality assurance. By staying on the line, you consent to being recorded.
So it's calling me right now.
Okay.
Right. So it's transferring to my own cell phone.
Okay. Perfect. Your ring. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, we could dive into a lot of these different branches and show how we set different things up. But I wanted to show like how you can customize the messaging and you can kind of write all that. And I had way too much fun building that.
No, that was awesome. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the message customized to that extent. So that's really cool to see.
Right. So hopefully that
the power of it.
Yeah, hopefully that answers the question. Like, can it do what you need it to do?
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
They noticed that there was a notification in the upper right that there was a missed call.
Yep. You saw that in my browser.
Yeah. I would love to go over to the calls, as what we did was
let's go into our calls here.
Should be in our calling our call index screen. And so there we have today.
Okay. It might take a minute for it to pop in there.
Yep.
What is it? 11.
Because this is the one from 11:15 a.m., which was earlier.
Yeah.
I think when we were playing with it.
Yeah.
Record should still be in there though, because the call to are you looking for the agent call to? The agent call should definitely be in there by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was looking to see if it should be. I mean, so there should be one. It's 11:50 right now, so there should be a recent one in here.
I think we're just.
Oh, let me just see here. Is there a filter that may be blocking it? Let's take a look here.
It'll probably just take a minute. At least when we've done this in the past, it's.
Oh, voicemail available, maybe. because the agent shouldn't have had a voicemail.
There you go.
There we go.
That looks like it was maybe the one right here, 1143.
Yep.
And I'm assuming your triggers, Zach. Did you have
When in doubt,
you had pricing on that trigger on the trigger words in your agent?
Yes.
yeah. So some of the trigger words I have set up are like, custom pricing, custom quote, things like that, and that's why it transferred it over to me.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can take a look at. I can show you some of those settings too, if you want. But
Yeah,
here's
we
the
can take a look at
transcript.
the CRM.
Right.
Perfect.
I'm the CEO of PepsiCo, or whatever you want to call it. We're like the biggest beverage manufacturer in the world, dude. So here it gives me some call notes, right? Summary, keynotes, topics discussed, product details and features, technical specifications, support and warranty, pricing inquiries. We have the whole recording here.
Hey there, this is WillyBot, your AI customer support.
Can you guys hear
How
that?
can I help you out today?
Okay. And then we have the whole transcript here, which has been cleaned. I like the little broom here. That's nice. Which is super helpful if we need to take it and, start asking some more questions about what's going on. No stats yet, because I think that's, what do you want?
Can you tell us about that, Sarah? That cleaned transcript?
Oh yeah, so we clean up the utterances of the transcript just to make sure if there's languages or just things that
and weird things like that.
Little things that come up. So we're just taking that most recent cleaned up version of it and posting that for everyone.
Because I think I did say Pepsi Cola or something like that
a few times,
right? And then and it changed it to PepsiCo. But that's cool. That's nice.
Yeah. Is it looking for artifacts as well that maybe, because sometimes the audio gets generated weird and that can cause, is that primarily what it's looking for, or is it just trying to smooth out the language?
I don't know which versions, what the key things is trying to clean up there. I think just some inconsistencies in pronunciations of words or the way things are going to be listed out. It's just trying to clean those pieces up, and then some of the same phrases and things like those should be the core things. But I can look into confirm what's cleaned up on each of those versions.
Because I think that's important to note, as because stuff from meetings has been coming in for a while, and the transcription itself has improved in value and accuracy, I think, dramatically over the past 6 months. So if you're seeing this and you tried it last year at some point, there's so many points in the process that we're seeing improvements, right? And it all builds on each other. So if you haven't been in here in a while, come back in and check it out. It's so much better. And this space in general, and something that came up in our last show, is anybody using this, let's say customer agent specifically, in any kind of sales role play or coaching scenarios?
So actually, I'd love to show you that if you can go to the customer agent. So we have Tester now, but we have explored a coaching agent the way to do pre-calls with your sales reps to kind of get them ready. But we actually want to make sure that we get the full calling on customer agent live first. So that has been explored. We don't have anyone currently using a use case to use the customer agent for internal ramping or testing, just because it is going to consume credit. So we're not quite there yet of that being an internal tool. It would probably be in a separate type of agent that's going to be explored. But yeah, typically for the transcript right now, people are just either plugging that information in to Breeze, searching across the transcript for more information, or if you're looking at the track terms or the questions asked, you can use that insight tab to further evaluate what's happening on the call. And then we're going to be doing some more work over the next year to have more of an aggregated view of your transcripts. So you can really do more of that full coaching per rep and not the one-to-one calls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we were talking about this recently. I think was it with you, Chris? We were talking about this where we're wouldn't it be great to just be able to feed an agent all of these good calls, and bad calls, train it on all of that data. And then when you hire a new rep, instead of doing that real awkward role play, ring, 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 with your manager, that you can just set them up with, the agent and say, go spend a couple hours today practicing on these types of calls. And, and then the agent also gathers all the feedback on how those calls went, kind of scores it and gives it back to the manager and be like, I don't know, you maybe need to find a new rep. This was a bad hire.
Yeah, it's exactly the role play agents, and there's some out in the marketplace. There are extensions and things that have them. We've pretty much seen them, but so it's definitely something we're exploring and looking into to get a coaching tool for calling on that.
Right. Well, I'd say I like to find these other use cases because it's valuable, right? In terms of when you're setting this up, like if you can click on the content sources, Zach, right? There's two spots where I think perfectionism gets in the way of using tools like this and setting them up, because either our data isn't clean or our documentation isn't clean, and we got to do all of that first, and then we'll give it to the agent, right? Step one. Or step two, we're not sure what the agent's going to say, to customers. So even if you're paying, I'd say, if you're not using credits yet and you really want to use this tool, right, there's opportunity, at least for a sales manager, to say, hey, let's add some documents in, and then I'm going to do some calling and have some conversations, and it's going to come into the system and be recorded. So the concepts of figuring out which terms to track, and there's so much value in this, helping the system understand the structured and unstructured data, but also helping your humans understand how this stuff works, right? And the ability to, instead of having that role play live on a call, live on a sales meeting, right now you can have already done it and just bring those insights in and just say, hey, these are the terms that I think we should be tracking, and just start to socialize these tools in a way that you couldn't before, right? And that stuff, the coaching, the role play, the documentation, that's all of the stuff that is on everybody's list and never gets done, right? And that's one of my favorite use cases of AI now, is both documentation and coaching has become so much easier, right? That I think there's a lot to leverage here, even if you don't, for whatever reason, and there's lots of them, that you don't want to just throw this in front of customer facing, situations. It doesn't mean you can't get value out of it, right?
Absolutely. Where I'd like to try to have people start to build that confidence is now, if you click on the test Willie bot, calling channels available on there now, so you can actually go through those calls. And this isn't so much for rep performance, but this is to build that confidence of okay, I'm just going to start with 5 sources. I know these are the common questions that people ask our reps from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. Start with that, test it out, and then just plug it in as an after hours tool. You can literally set the channel to be answering those calls from that time period, and really have your customers be able to do that full FAQ resolution. I would always say the customer agent is a much better resolver than a voicemail box, because you're still getting resolution. You can actually capture the conversation with the customer versus the propensity for somebody to hang up and never call you back. So I would start there to kind of build confidence with teams. And then to your point, Chris, we are going to be working on more things to really understand what are the common questions coming up across all of your conversations with the agent. And then that is another coaching tool they can use in their arsenal to say, we've got the agent live. These are the things that are coming up. This is where our sourcing could get better. This is where our entire guidance could get better. Maybe we don't have this offering. Maybe we need to explore creating this. So all of those things are still in the works to really just make it a more robust coaching tool. But I would say start small. AI is the trust there, across the board is kind of limited. It fluctuates with people, but start with testing it out. Start with just an after hours use case, plug it in, let it run. As long as you have the basic questions answered, it's going to resolve, as we saw from Zach's example. You don't have to get super detailed with it. It should be able to answer all your questions as long as the source is open.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like you said, at the very least, like if I call after hours and I get a voicemail, you know, the better option is I call after hours and I get an agent,
Yep.
and I at least feel like I'm being paid attention to, and maybe I get a question or two answered. But, you know, if this is set up right, I can tell this agent a whole bunch of stuff, and then tomorrow morning when the actual human walks into the office or logs into their, you know, computer, you know, there's a ticket in here too, right? This is tied to help desk, right?
Yeah.
There's a ticket in here that's unassigned or assigned, you know, based on what we want to set up.
Yep.
And that person's like, oh, you know, here's the whole conversation that happened and all the context there. And don't forget, right, we can set up tracked terms too. So, you know, like what are the things you want to listen for specifically? Like if I'm a manufacturer and I have a support line and I'm tracking the term, like I have a line down, right? Which is like a manufacturer's worst case scenario. I'm losing potentially millions of dollars a day for this production line being down.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, if we're in the business of keeping production lines up and that term line down is trending upwards, you know, we better get ahead of that. If it's going down, then hey, guess what? We're doing what we need to do, and this is working well, right? So, stuff like that. And also, I just want to point out, I didn't even know that this was right here.
Yes.
So like that is huge. Being able to test not just the chat, but the phone and email here. And guys, right? Testing doesn't use HubSpot credits, so you know, test away.
Yeah. And it's like, on that trust issue, Sarah, like definitely if you're an admin or manager or leader, like you've got to find ways to handle that up like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But know that, and I've been like collaborating with Zach like throughout the last couple of months, like there's no voice model work being done, you know, from Zach to make sure what you just heard was as clear as it was, right? AI in most use cases is where it needs to be in terms of solving for these use cases. So if you show up and it doesn't go the way that you think it should go, remember your documents, your data, the context, whoever was giving the prompt, like there's so many variables. Please do not just say, okay, AI is not ready yet, right? Because there's lots of people, lots of data to show. It definitely is, right? But it's
garbage in, garbage out.
It's a team sport. Like if you can think about it as a collaborative effort, you will get to where you need to go, you know, much faster. And that's where I love to share. I love to try and get leaders to think a little bit differently and try not to work so hard on the question, how does AI work? Right? Work harder on the question is, how will our people work with AI? Right? So this was awesome, Sarah. I appreciate you coming by again and, you know, continuing to just push us forward in terms of helping everybody get their data and context and all that good stuff into HubSpot while making it conversational. As we do that, I think is key for most businesses. And
now is like just one thing to end with. It's like a lot of people are overwhelmed with all the work that they have to put into getting these agents and settings configured. And a big part of it is, you know, you have to feed it knowledge and context. So if you don't have a knowledge base, you don't have a bunch of these documents already designed and ready to go, like AI has made it easier than ever now to go and get that information into a format that you can then put into HubSpot. You know, a lot of the information is already on your website. It's just not put into an FAQ form. Like the knowledge is there in your Outlook, in your shared drives, and, you know, in presentations, in your sales reps' brains. It's like, you know, you can have a couple meetings and spend a couple hours on, you know, throwing stuff at AI and having it gather all the information and formatting it into like an FAQ and these types of documents. You know, I mean, Wonka Factory Code did not exist. You know, it's a fake company. I had to come up with all these knowledge articles somehow. And I tell you what, I did not spend weeks and weeks and weeks of time doing it. You know, I was able to spend a couple hours and I have, you know, 100 articles in there. Right. So, Yeah. Now keep it coming, Sarah. This is great.
That was a great call. No, I always appreciate the space and the time, Chris. These are extremely helpful. Zach, you made my day with with your setup. I would love to. I'll probably play some test calls to your portal. So
let's do more.
Encouraging. Like I would love more customers. Just test it out. Let us hear how it's going. I have an open line. Hit me on LinkedIn. Shoot me an email if anyone wants to chat about all the things we're building, or just take a look at some of the betas and alphas.
Yeah. And Customer Agent, if you haven't tried it yet, 28-day free trial.
Yeah.
Just started up. So,
and
right.
I think we may be working on a little customer agent guide here that'll be available for folks soon. So more to come.
Yeah, we're super excited. So I can't wait. Hopefully we'll swing back maybe sometime next quarter or two and show you guys the full thing with the full actions for the calling channel. So yeah,
I think once a quarter call is a must.
It is.
Yeah, after spring spotlight is the common refrain right now. So we get it.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we hope that was helpful, everybody. And have a great weekend.
Yeah, thanks. Happy Friday. Good weekend.